Tennessee season comes to an end in 5-4 defeat to VCU. I'm Eric Hades, Mike Wilson. This is the VolQuest.com extra innings. Kind of similar stories. Offense overall here after a really strong close to the regular season. You saw it pop up in Hoover a little bit. The offense just wasn't really where it needed to be this weekend. Starting pitching after giving just a phenomenal effort yesterday. Pitching overall yesterday. Today, not as good. Tegan Kuhn's clearly under the weather. That affected his start. He lasted only 4 innings. You try to bridge it to Cam Appenzeller, who was really good, by the way. And during that bridge, it kind of fell apart. You went from a 1-run deficit to a 3-run deficit, and Tennessee kind of made some comebacks a little bit, but ultimately came up short, and the season comes to an end.
I would call Tegan's start phenomenal, too, in its own right. Josh Elander didn't say it directly, but he basically implied Tegan was going back and throwing up in between innings.
Yeah.
He said he's going back there to do what he had to do. So whatever he's got going on, he's sick. So giving you 4 innings, competing the way he did, you got to give him accolades for that. Obviously, Tennessee had to have him. It's hard to go to Frederick. It's hard to go to Hindi. They just haven't been the guys that they were recruited to be. That obviously ended up costing you, but it didn't have to cost you if the offense came through. The pitching gave up runs there, but you were still in position to do more. 7 runs in 23 innings. You're 1 for 17 runners in scoring position. That's why you lost the game.
Yeah.
You can talk all you want about going to Brady Frederick, going to Mark Hindi. That hurts you today.
Left not on base today.
It did not lose you the game. The offense continuing to not get it done. Giving up 5 runs, you should be able to win a game against VCU, even with the good arms they. So to me, it's still the offense just did not execute this weekend at all.
Yeah, again, you were 1 for 10 runners in scoring position yesterday, 1 for 17 overall on the weekend. You left 9 men on base this weekend or today. You were 0 for 2 with a runner at third base, less than 3 outs. Yesterday, again, the offense, the way you want to spin it, just wasn't good enough.
And the big guys weren't good today. Grimmer, Ford, and Clark were just striking out all over.
And Wright was really good. And that strikeout there at the end, I understand everybody's going to say they're losing their minds. According to TrackMan had got the zone. He crowds the plate. I still thought it was a little high, but nonetheless, he had a pretty good game as well. Stone Wallace had a good game. Rich Chapman had a good game, but the offense overall just wasn't there. Let's go back to kind of bridging that gap there from Kuhn's to Appenzeller. Great to see that from Appenzeller, finishing on a high note. He's had overall a pretty good year, some rough outings here towards the end. A lot of people want to know, just like yesterday, why not Rudy right after Evan Blanco? Well, why not Appenzeller right after Tegan Kuhn's? Well, you try to bridge it. Like Appenzeller pitched yesterday. He was not going to carry you the distance, but they wanted him to at some point, about 40 pitches, couple innings, and so you got to bridge that gap there a little bit. Again, the issue is, and you just said it, it's been the issue all year long, who do you go to? And that's the situation there. So it's unfortunate because Appenzeller threw pretty well today, but it was never I asked Josh Elander, was there consideration going to him in the 5th inning? He said no. That was never the plan.
Yeah, he basically said Appenzeller threw a bunch of pitches yesterday. Also, team came out of the game more suddenly than it seemed like they expected.
Curveball is what he said.
Yeah, so they went to more of a quick change pitcher, I guess you would look at it as.
And Brady Frederick has kind of been. I know his run has diminished the last couple of weeks.
He's not good at it.
Yeah,
but again, that's the problem. Is he's been that guy, but he hasn't been effective in that role. Yeah. I said on the board last night, I don't envy Josh Elander or Josh Reynolds making pitching decisions. Yeah. It's a game of Russian roulette where all the chambers but one are loaded. Mm-hmm. But Rudy's kind of the only one. You couldn't go to him today. What do you do? It's just guys having guys. I actually would have got a Krenzel for what it's worth. I know he hasn't been effective, but he's got the stuff where maybe you're like, hey,
some point
might get you something somewhere.
And give Brady Frederick a little bit of credit there. I mean, he was playing with fire. He was a strike away. He didn't finish it. And then Mark Hindi came in, and I mean, what was VCU thinking with stealing it home right there? I mean, that was the most dumb, boneheaded decision I think I've ever seen. Mark Hindi, a 4-pitch walk where he didn't even come close to the zone. And then there was 2 gifts in that inning. They scored 2 runs, still 2 gifts. Could have been so much worse. But nonetheless, a frustrating day here. And a frustrating season. I mean, whenever you end the season, it's always tough for the players and all that. But, I mean, Henry Ford's going to be gone. He came over and did what he was supposed to do. Garrett Wright was such a fun player to watch. Evan Blanco was a really good player for Tennessee this year. End of the season vibe's always kind of tough, but kind of the theme a little bit in that press conference was, okay, what about next year? What about next year? And I know you and I both are going to write about that here today.
Yeah, I mean, that's always where the focal point turns. And Josh Elander kind of addressed in his opening statement, saying, we got to make some adjustments, and we're going to.
Yeah.
Asked him about what those adjustments are, and it's a hard question to ask at that moment. Season just ended, players were sitting there, and he didn't want to say a lot about it at this point, but address the fact that some things have to change, and there's going to be some questions asked. Obviously, the pitching didn't come through this year. Hitting didn't have enough guys. There weren't enough guys on this team at the end of the day that you knew were going to get it done on a consistent basis. You've got to figure out. I mean, the staff, part of it arrived in November, late October. early November, December, even for Craig Bell, I think. So there's some things you got to figure out of getting everyone on the ground, running on the same page, hit the portal really hard, getting earlier start in the portal than you're used to.
Earlier start they've had quite some time.
I mean, you got to get in the portal and do a lot of things. But reality is Tennessee's used to being supers. They're not a super. This probably was where this team was going to peak at, just based on the overall roster and the way things were going. Got to give them credit for getting here with how bad things were early in SEC play, but you also got to say, well, what are you going to do in year two? And that's the questions that are going to come up really quick.
Again, a strong close of the regular season. Again, give credit where credit's due to get here, but I agree with you. I never really thought that this was – I mean, it's tough to get to Omaha, so you never really called that preseason and all that.
Super's the standard
Super's the standard now, 5 straight. And I thought it was going to be a challenge to kind of get there. But
win a couple more games in the regular season.
Yeah.
And you're hosting potentially, and you're in a better spot to make that super. Yeah. So there are a lot of regular season moments to look back on and say that's where things kind of cost you in the postseason at the end of the day.
We got a lot to unravel. We're going to be writing a couple different stories. We've already got some look-ahead pieces that's out there right now. We'll have more in the morning. The transfer portal officially opens on Monday. Expected to be very busy both ways. Players leaving, players coming in. No better place to track all that than right here at VolQuest.com. For Mike Wilson, I'm Eric Kane. Really do thank you guys each and every game day this year. It flies by every single year. Thanks for being a part of us, hanging out with us at the General's Quarters. The conversation doesn't stop. We'll see you there on the GQ right here at VolQuest.com.